Hi everyone, this is a tutorial movie based on color range. Color range is in Photoshop underneath the select area right here, and I'm going to show you the effects of color range on 3 different files. Okay, I'm actually going to paint this light for you again. I'm going to turn off this upper clicky copy, which is a copy of the original below reference layer. It's just a copy, I call it clicky, so I've just turned it off. Here's the upper little photographic light that's up here, because I'm going to turn off the lower reference layer, and I have a white layer on the bottom because I don't want you to see the checkerboard background, because that can kind of get in the way visually. So what I wanted to show you was in this finished layer here, I have layers that are named properly, and I'm going to paint them for you and with you, and I'm going to delete all of these, not delete, turn off all of these layers, so you can see that I started with a bottom layer and I worked my way up to, I'm going to turn that one off, I worked my way up to color ranges of the specific colors. Hold on. So as I'm putting these layers back on, you can see that they are actually not photographic layers. They are painted with a paintbrush, okay? And the way that I garnered them, and I'm going to click over here to the upper channel, is you can see that from the reference I used color range to grab specific colors. And not only did it grab a specific color, but it also grabbed variances of that color, and that's why you see gray and white. Now I'm going to just say something to those of you who've never worked in channels. When you command or control click on a channel, whatever's white turns into the selection, whatever's black doesn't. Whatever gray is, or wherever gray is, turns into somewhat of a selection. So understand that black and white and gray to a channel are actually selections. Okay, so I'm going to click back up to the RGB image here, and we're going to go make this one. But I also wanted you to see where and when you should use color range. So I'm going to click back up to the main layer, and there are certain parts of this vehicle that you can use color range on. The little light in here has refractions. You could use, if it was better reference, color range. The grill, however, is technical, so you can't use color range on that. If there were clouds or sky reflecting, or a building reflecting into the hood, or a person reflecting into the hood or glass, you could use color range. You could, if you wanted to, use color range on this reflection, because nobody would know if it's perfect or not, because there is no perfect reflection. Okay? The tread tire and the imperfections on the tread could be color ranged, but not the geometry of the wheel itself. Just so you understand that. Now I'm going to flip to another file, and I'm going to show you that the freckles on her face are color ranged. All right, not the underskin. And I'm going to show you that at the final part of this demo, and you don't have to watch it, but I want you to see how color range works for both soft product, and I'll go to another hard product. So on this one, I actually can break down where the freckles are. So I'm actually going to move in just to show you very quickly. This is what a Photoshop face looks like without texture. This is what a Photoshop face looks like with texture. It just gives it an amazing realism. This is the reference right here, and this is what it looks like. And then I have all of the color range freckles. So what I'll do just really quick here is I'll just click to the channels to show you the freckles on the left, the freckles on the right, the freckles in the middle, the freckles on the nose, and we use these black and white and gray selections. I mean, what is a channel when you use it like this? It's just a means of taking a pen and drawing out shapes. But do you see how many shapes are in front of you? Could I draw those shapes on that face? The answer is absolutely. I could draw every one of those. But why should I when Photoshop allows for you to grab certain colors? You have to paint them back on. Now that's what I want to get to. So let me get to another one, and I'm going to show you that very quickly. I have all the layers created, and I have all the paths created, but I don't have any channels here on the clouds. So I'm going to paint this sheet metal car for you very, very quickly, like within 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to paint it. Then I'm going to add the clouds to the glass and the clouds to the sheet metal, because that could be a viable job in the industry. But let's get back to this one so you can understand and learn the technique, all right? And that's important. So let's go like, well, I'm going to do something right now, and I'm going to take a moment to do it, and I might pause the video, but I have a finished one here. Let me turn off the upper clicky copy. This is the little light. This is actually a copy of the photographic reference, all right? I have two paths out here, and let me show you how I made that little copy. I actually have a command click on the lamp itself. So I now have the lamp selected with a selection. Now I'm going to click up to the clicky copy and hit Command or Control J, and you can see very quickly how I've now made another small one. I'll take the V key and I'll move it around the screen. So you can see how this is actually a copy of the photographic aspect to my reference. But I'm going to throw that away because I don't need it because I already have it. Now, I'm going to make a new folder, and I want you to understand the process. I have to work in combination with swatches right here, and I have a lot of swatches in here, and I'm going to get rid of every single swatch that's in here, but I'm going to pause the video in a second because it's going to take me a minute to do that. I can delete all of these swatches here. I don't know if there's a big delete swatches thing, but I'm just going to do it the way I normally do it. So I'm going to start first because I want you to see how I'm going to create my own color scale swatch on this. So I'm going to hold Alt or Option, which is going to actually allow me to click and get rid of these. Now for some reason it's not allowing me, so I'll come back in a second and that'll turn into a pair of scissors. Let me hit the V key and do it. Okay, and I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, I googled the problem, and this is actually good to tell you. In Photoshop 2018, you can't Option click or Alt click to get rid of it. The scissors icon doesn't show up. In 2017 and earlier versions it does. But you can go to the preset manager here, and you can actually click on the first one and shift click on the last one and just delete them out. So there they are, and I'll be right back again. Okay, so now that we have a blank swatch palette, I can now develop my own swatches based on color range. Because in order to do this, we have to make a layer folder, which I'll put down here, and I'm going to call it New Light. Whoops, I don't want it inside there. I want it just next to it. Okay, so I'm going to call this New Light. And I'll save the file. So inside there, I need at least 12 to 14 layers. So I'm just going to make them. Now, it's 15. That's fine. Now, on the first layer, I'm going to name it base, because you always have a base value pretty much when you do something like what we're going to do right here using color range. So now I'm going to name the first one number 1, and I'm going to add to these names to keep myself organized. So as you can see, I am making all of them in order. This one's number 7. This one's number 8. I'll move this down so you can see. Number 9 is this one. Number 10. Number 11. I'm keeping the names very simple. And number 12. So I did have 12 layers. I'm going to save the file. I'm going to put another layer on top, and I'm going to call it Fix. Now, if I need more layers, I'll make them, okay? So, when it comes time, I'm going to show you the channel palette right here. When it comes time to paint the number 1 channel, I'm going to have a swatch inside here called number 1, and I'm going to paint it on number 1's layer. When it comes time to paint the number 2 channel, I'm going to use the number 2 layer and the number 2 color. So we're going to do this in order and organize ourselves all the way through this file. So I'm going to put the channel palette back over here, but I do want you to know that if you get this file and you want to practice, please throw away all of my channels. And by the way, you can only save up to 59 extra channels, okay? So I'm going to just start throwing away the channels based on the bottom, and because this is obviously a demo that I want to do with you and for you, and I want to start with no saved channels. So we go through the whole process together. So I just wanted you to see that I'm actually throwing this away in front of you, and that I'll try not to pause the video at all, and we'll do it all on screen, and you can fast forward if you want to. So let me put the Swatches palette over here. Let me dock the channels palette in with the path, and now let's move this up. And I might make this be a smaller panel here so we can fit all the channels on the screen here. Okay, let me make this slightly longer. Now let's start the process. So the process is I'm going to turn off this finished area. So I could turn on the bottom layer like this, but you really don't need to see it at the moment. Okay, I'm going to use the top layer for a reason, because I need to color range from this picture right here. Okay, so I have the same thing that was on the bottom is on the top, and I can turn it on, and you can see how I can actually turn it on and color range it. But I want this up here so you can see how this looks as we grow. So I'm going to turn on this upper clicky copy, and I'm going to Command or Control click so that and I'm going to turn this off so you can see it. You see the selection I have? The selection is actually based, and I'm going to zoom in, on the outer shape. So I'm going to grab the black right there. Boom. Now that I've grabbed it, I actually want to start the process by clicking inside of here and just typing in base. So now I've started my new colors. Okay, I don't need the library to come up. Now I've started my new colors. Okay, so let me back out of this by option zooming or scrolling. And I don't need to save a channel because it's just one thing. So I'm going to turn off the clicky copy, go down to the base right here, and I'm going to back out so you can see it, and I'm just going to, in this case, hit Option Delete or Alt Delete to fill that. Make sure you're on the correct layer. Now, let's start the process of grabbing the colors. We're not going to paint yet. We're going to paint at the end. In about 2 minutes, the whole thing will get painted. Okay, so we have to do our due diligence to grab everything. So I'm always going to click up here to this clicky copy. Now, I want you to know that we're going to probably go through 7 or 6 different colors of selections to get from the dark brown tone here to the lightest tone here. So I usually tell people that the first value is the 100% value. In this case, it was 100% dark. It doesn't always have to be the dark. The second thing I'm going to tell you is I want you to go from about 100%, with the second layer being 85 or so % dark, then go to a 70% dark, a 50% dark, a 30% dark, a 15% dark, and your final highlight. So if you need me to write that in here, I'll just put in here that this is underscore 85% dark. You don't have to do this. I just want you to see that I'm actually putting in the fact that I want these to be near the correct visual percentage. So I'm taking the extra time to type in the values that I want, going from the dark on the bottom to the light on the top. So I said the next one is 30%. I said number 5 is going to be 15%. And I'm going to now say that number 6 is going to be underscore the lightest. I'll say that it's going to be the white. Now, let's just do this, okay? Now I'm going to go over here and show you that number 7 is going to be the yellow, and number 8 is going to be, because there's more first level yellow, the light yellow, then we're going to go to the dark yellow orange. So I'm actually going to say number 7 is going to be underscore yellow 1, and then number 8 is going to be underscore yellow 2. It's very important that you stay organized. I see in the tan orangey areas, I see 4 levels of orange. There's 1, look at that, there's 1. There's 2, which is about right there. There's 3, which is right there or right there. And then there's this dark browny orange, all right, which is right, I'm pointing at it right there. Okay, so what I want to do is go yellow 1 and yellow 2, which I did. Then we are going to go to number 9, which is going to be, and I'm going to call it, for the lack of calling it anything, I'm going to call it orange number 1. And I'm going to drag across that so I don't have to type that again. I'm going to go like this and click and hit Command V, delete number 2, so that's orange number 2. I'll click right here and hit Command V or Control V, delete number 3. Then I'll click here and I'll say Command V, delete number 4. Now I'm going to save the file. So I've really accounted for everything. The last thing that I really want an extra layer for highlight. So I want the brightest highlights, which is the smallest amount of tone. Okay, so let's go to the bottom and, well, actually let's leave it at the top and click on the clicky copy. So now let's do exactly what I said. We are going to use color range. How do you use color range? If I don't have the selection active, I'm Command D'ing to deselect. If I enter color range right now, color range looks at the entire file. So look, if I grab this tone right here, look at how it's just a little tiny bit of tone on this whole file. Here, I'll grab this tone. See how I have the whole car right here? So, and I want you to understand something. See this eyedropper that I have right up here above the window? That is not the same eyedropper that's right there. That's the eyedropper Photoshop uses for color. This is the eyedropper that color range uses for color. Okay, now that we have that, let's cancel. Because what I want to do is I want to use this path that I drew to designate or segregate or to isolate out the lamp. So now with that layer selected, now let's enter color range. Now I want to move this out of the way, and I want you to keep your eye on this window here because I'm going to go look for the 85% dark. Okay, if that's the dark, that is about 85% dark. Now fuzziness right here means the less I go, the more it grabs that exact pixel of color. The higher I go, or the greater the number, the more it forgives to the lighter and darker values that are nearest to that brown tone. Okay, so I want to keep it somewhere in the 80s. That's fine. We'll make it higher or lower for certain things, but just leave yours at about 80 and you'll be fine. Okay, mine's at 87, it's okay. Now look at the selection that was generated from that. That is a beautiful selection, but let's not do anything with it yet. Let's save this color. So I'm going to click over to here. I'm going to click to number 185 and hit Command C. You see how I did that? Now let's click here and hit Command V or Control V to paste. Now let's go up to the select and save the selection and hit Control V or Command V, and now I have my new channel. See, it's right over here. It's number 1. Now let's repeat the process, but let's go to number 2 at 70%. So I'm hitting Command C to copy that that title. Now let's Command click the overall black and let's go enter color range. Now if that was 85% right there, let's go to about this tone, which to me is about 70% dark. So let's click it. Now let me say OK. Now let's save the selection, Command V or Control V. Let's save the swatch, Command V or Control V. And now I have my, I didn't hit OK. And now I have that. So look at this little swatch that's being created here. Let me see if I can make, I want to make large thumbnails so you can see them a little bit better. Okay, so look at how we're making a nice color scale here, going from dark all the way across to the final orange and the final yellows. Let's continue. I want the number 3 eventual layer, so I'm copying that title, hitting the return key, and I'm going to make a selection of the overall thing. Look, I'm still selected onto the clicky copy. All right, so now let's enter color range. In color range, we are looking for the 50% value. So if that was 70%, this feels like about 50%. I mean, it's close enough. So let's go ahead and grab it. All right, now let's say OK. Now let's save that here as Command V. And you can see I have a really good thing happening over here. And let's save the selection as Command V, or the same name, or Control V. So now you can see how I have 3. I have 1, 2, and 3, which are eventually, I'm going to make the brush smaller, which are eventually going to be painted on layers 1, 2, and 3. Not now, but in a few minutes. Now let me continue on. Let's get this done. Hold on. Okay, it's time to grab the number 4. I don't remember if I did this. I'm sorry that I actually am putting it on pause a bunch of times, but my office door has been ringing like crazy, and my phone's been ringing like crazy. So I am doing number 4, which is going to be the 30% value. So let's enter color range, and let's get the 30% value. So as I said, if this was 100, that was 85, this was 70, if that was 50, let's find a 30% value, which is probably going to be, and I'll show you how to see it really easy. You see this color that was the last color that I got? Well, that was the 50% value. So let me make sure that was. This should show me that. Okay, it won't show me that until I get out of this window. This was 100. Let me just 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So this was 100. This was 80, 70, 50. So I'm going after the 30. So I want you to see this color getting lighter, but not too light. So let me go to here. I think that was perfect, actually. So now I have the 30% value. Let's save the color as Command V to paste. And now look at how I have a nice... I'm probably too dark on the 50% value, but I still think it'll work right, okay? I still think it'll be fine. It's not that critical as long as you're close. So let's go to, I already did color range, let's go to select and save selection, Command V to paste, boom, and now I have my 30%. So let's double click the 15%, Command C, and let's hit the return key, Command C, return key, so it doesn't go away from me. And now let's make a selection of the black. That's important. Let's click up to the clicky copy, and let's go to select color range. And now, if that was 30, let's grab a 15%, which is about right, a little bit darker, Brian, right about there. And now let's say, okay, a little bit darker, I think. Just a little bit darker. And what I'm looking at is the foreground color here and how much it got dark. So now I have it. Let's go click Command V to paste. I have it right there. Let's hit selection, save selection, Command V or Control V to paste. I now have a good thing happening down here. Let's hit Command S to save the file. Now let's get the let us get the 6 white. So I'm going here and I'm going to hit Command C, hit the return key to accept. Let's Command click the overall lamp. Let's go to the brightest part of the lamp, which isn't exactly white. So what I want to do is go to this bright part of the lamp right here. So let's enter color range. Let's grab that tone that I just found right here, which is about the brightest tone I can find. Now I'm not gonna move up. I might even move down on it. Like, I'll leave it at 80. I told you I'd leave it at 80. I'll leave it at 80. So now I've got it. Let's click over here and hit Command V to paste, and let's go save the selection. And Command V to paste or Control V to paste. Yes, I'm using a Mac. So now we need the yellow. So let's move this over and let's get the yellow. So I'm gonna double click yellow 1, Command C, return key. Command click the black over here to the top left. Let's now go in, enter color range, and grab that first yellow. So let's zoom into this and let's grab that first yellow, and I'm going to make it go a little bit bigger like this, and let's click OK. Now let's save the selection real quick as Command V to paste. Good. And let's save the color as Command V to paste or Control V. Now let's go to number 2 yellow. Command C, hit return key. Command click the black, so the black path. Let's now enter color range. Let's grab the yellow orange right there. Click OK. And let's click over here and hit Command V to paste. It could be a little bit more orange. It could, no, that should be a little bit more orange. So let me go back into color range and let's go here and click a little bit more orange right there, and I'm gonna kind of move it back down a little bit more towards 80. I like that better, so I'm going to actually control click and get rid of that swatch right there. And then I'm going to hit click here and hit Command V to paste. And now I have, that's much better. See, so, you know, nothing's perfect and I had to do it twice. So let's go to select, color range. I'm sorry, save selection, Command V to paste. Boom. Now I have, I'm double checking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I haven't missed anything. Let's go to orange 1, Command C, hit return key. Let's hit Command click the actual path here. I'll leave this open because there is the first base pinky orange that I want. Okay, so let's go enter color range. Let's click this area right here. This time I want to go back down to the 80. I definitely don't want to go any farther than 80, maybe even 70 would be good, but I'm good there. Let's actually click this and hit Command V to paste. And now that should be the first orange. Let me make sure, yes. And let's go to select, save selection, Command V or Control V to paste. And now I'm going to double click number 10, Command C. Let's do the process. Command click the area, enter color range, and now you want the second level in this case. So, and I think if I were you, I would practice on this one. But here is the second level right there. See? So let's grab it. Now let's hit OK. Let's click the color, Command V or Control V to paste. Let's go to save the selection, Control V to paste. And now I have, look at this nice color scale that I have building here. Okay, save the file so it doesn't quit on me. And now let's make a selection of the black, which is step 1. Step 2 is grab this name, Command V, Command C. So now I'm doing the third level. What's the third level? Well, I think it's this bright color. So let's enter color range. I don't really have to click up to the clicky copy. Let's grab this color right here, and I'm going to actually go a little bit higher with it because I want to expand it out a little bit. Let me hit OK. Let's click right here and Command V to paste. That's a really good one. And let's go here to save the selection, Command V, save the file again, as you're hearing me do it like every single time. Let's double click 1204. We're almost done with this. Hit return key, Command click the black, enter color range, and now let's grab this really dark tone that's right there, and I'm going to make it go higher like that, right about there. And now I am going to save that selection as Command V to paste. That is really good. Let's go here to save selection, Command V to paste. Now we're ready to paint the whole thing. So now that we have everything done, clicky copy can go off. Now I'm going to hit deselect. Now I'm going to hit something called Command H to hide the selection, but you don't have to. Okay, but I want you to see on screen how they go together or how they go on. So for the very first one, look how I'm clicking to the first layer. I'm going to turn off the base layer. I'm going to make a Command or Control click on the first channel. Now, can you see the selection right there? Let's click the first color. I'm going to hit Command or Control H to hide the selection, and then Option Delete and Fill. That is your 85% dark. Now let's click to the number 2 one. Okay? Let's click the number 2 color, which is right there. Let's Command click the number 2 channel. Let's hit Option Delete and Fill. Let's click to the number 3 layer. Let's click to the number 3 color. Let's click to the number 3. This is too dark. I know it's too dark. I almost can skip this one. You know, I probably should skip this one, but I'm actually going to lower the opacity on it. I can already feel it. So I'm going to Command click it. I'm going to hit, make sure I'm on the right layer, and hit Option Delete, and I'm going to lower that opacity because that opacity, it's just too strong. Now I'm going to click to the number 4 30% value layer. Let's click the number 4 color. Let's Command or Control click the number 4 channel and hit Option Delete and Fill. Let's do the 15% value. Let's grab the 15% color. let's hit the 15% channel and Option Delete and Fill. Now I've got a good look to it, especially if I put on the dark background. Look at how close I am to that. Look at how much that is actually working. I just need to go to a little bit more of that darker brown, and I think that's where I missed on the 50% value. But it's okay, I'm just going to keep on going, and there's other things that I can do to it to get the color to be correct. But let me finish the process. So let me click up to the white layer. Let's Command or Control click the white layer. Let's grab the whitish color and hit Option Delete and Fill. Now let's go to the yellow number 1 layer. There's going to be a Fix-It layer. There always is a Fix-It layer. I'll show you what that one's going to be in a minute. Whoops, I need to show that. Let me move this up. So let's make sure I'm on the yellow one. Let's click the yellow one. Let's Command click the yellow one and Option Delete and Fill. Let's go to the number 2 yellow layer. Let's click the number 2 yellow color and Command click or Control click the number 2 yellow channel and Option Delete and Fill. Let's go to the first of the orangey pink layers. Let's go grab the first orangey pink color and let's go make a selection of the orangey pink channel and hit Option Delete and Fill. And I'm going to continue this process. I don't have to announce it now. You can see what I'm doing. I'm doing all 3 stations with an Option or an Alt Delete Fill. Let's go to number 3. Here's the bright little orangey color. Let's go Command click where the orangey color goes, Option Delete and Fill. Let's click the final one. Let's click the final color. Let's click the final channel, Option Delete and Fill. Now I'm almost done. But what's wrong? I have little black holes everywhere. So I want you to see how I fix those black holes. Really simple. I need a Fix-It layer above the base layer. It's just going to be a big fuzzy thing. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put in here that this is Fix number 2. Now I'm going to paint below all of these layers, but for the time being I'm turning off all of these layers because I want you to see what I'm missing. So what I am missing when I click this is I'm missing that light color that is underneath everything, which is about right here. I'm missing that light pink, that really light color. And I'm going to actually grab it right here. Okay, now watch how I put it in there. Okay, so let's go back down to the bottom layer. Let me turn off the clicky copy. Let me Command click the black outer shape. Actually, it's the one that's inside of it. Okay, now watch what I do. I even have the one that's inside of it. Do you see how when I turn on the clicky copy, you see how that's where that pink actually starts? Do you see what I'm saying? So hit your B key, make your brush huge. I want you to check something right now. I want you to check if your brush spacing is correctly on 25%. So I want you to go to Window, I want you to go to Brush Settings. I want you to make sure that this is on 25% here. That is the normal default. Do not make it any less than 25%. I'll explain that to you later when I do the face painting. And other things. Please do not have shape dynamics on or scattering on. So make sure nothing is on here but 25%. Fine. Now, make the flow 5%, make the opacity 100%. You can leave the smoothing on 100%. That's fine here. I'm going to right-hand click and make sure I'm painting all the way in soft. All right, 0% hardness. Now I'm going to back out of this. Look at how I can paint a very, I have to go down to make sure I'm on the right layer. Look at how I am painting this value, and I'm just going to flood it on this side right here. Now, that didn't take long. That is the underneath color to everything that I need. Now, let me now show this. So let me show everything else on top. And there is everything on top. Now, I am so close to the finish. The thing that I'm missing on the finish is, and I probably missed on this one. This layer right here needs to be brighter. This number 1 orange color needs to be brighter. Actually, I just saw something. That color right here, right there, that one needs to be on, but less opacity on that one. And then for some reason, I missed on this brown color. I need to actually change that, and I want to change it by hitting the V key and right-hand clicking, and I have to deselect first, sorry. And now I want to see where that layer is on. It's actually on fix number 2. Let me see if that's the color. All right, I'm wrong on the color that I painted down here on fix 2. I'm wrong. It needs to be this color, so watch what I do. It needs to be this color, but brighter than that. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to make it brighter. Now, I'm going to paint. Watch how all this brown tone is going to go away. So I'm going to command click the inner light, and I'm going to use the same paintbrush, and I'm going to paint on top of that layer that is way down there on the bottom. And now I've got that looking just about right. That looks just about beautiful. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the darks on here. I want to push, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I want to push these darks right here, and I want to make them real pretty. So on this upper fix layer right there, I'm going to go grab a new channel. So I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to command click the black, just like we did before. I'm going to enter color range. Let me make the brush smaller. I'm going to enter color range. I'm going to grab this value that's right here, that value, and I'm going to go down so it's smaller, like this. Now, instead of painting in that value that I just grabbed right here, I'm going to make the color go all the way to the corner, nice and dark and rich. But I'm going to hand paint and increase the darks. I'm not going to just hit Alt or Option Delete. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. I am going to hit Command H to turn off the visibility of the selection. It's not turning the selection off, it's just letting me see it without, actually it's letting me use it without seeing it. Now watch how I'm painting on this layer, and watch how I actually go through here and I'm increasing the darks on here. Something is not happening. Oh, the clicky's on, no wonder. I'm going to Command Z back actually, because I was painting but the clicky copy was on. So no, I couldn't see anything. See, if I turn it on, you can't see anything. You know how many times you're going to do that? So now watch how I'm actually using that selection to increase the darks in all of these areas right here. Now look at how nice, when I back off on this, look at how strong that looks. Look at how clean that looks. Okay? Now, there are certain things that you might want to Gaussian blur. You see this orange right here that ends too quickly, and you see this orange that has a variance up here to it? Let's Gaussian blur a couple of layers. So I'm going to deselect, hit the V key, right-hand click right over that orange, and it takes me right to it. Do you see it right there? It's that yellowy orange. Now, I'm going to leave that layer selected. I'm making sure I've deselected, and I'm going to go to Blur and Gaussian Blur, and I'm going to Gaussian blur that by just a few pixels. So I just want to feather that a little bit more, which is about right there. Now I have that feathered, and it blends into the light yellow a little bit better. Now look how fast I painted that. Look how clean that is. Those colors are just about right where they need to be. But it's not pixels, it's paint. And I want you to understand this. Under Image and Image Size, if I have painted pixels on a layer using a selection, I can actually increase the resolution, because painted layers are what we refer to as non-resolution dependent. Meaning Photoshop is definitely resolution dependent. If you bring in a picture at 300 ppi, it's at 300 ppi. You can't just go to image size and increase it and expect your photograph to get any better. It's not going to get any better, and it's going to make everything look horrible and fuzzy, and it's going to ruin the pixelization. That's resolution dependent, okay? But painted layers can increase in resolution because they are fluid. They're almost like what was used to be called continuous tone photography. So, without getting deep into that, I want you to see that these are painted layers. If I remove these layers from here, you can see that I have actually painted 1, 2, 3, this is actually 4th layer, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I was very patient with all of my theory. All right, we're going to use this technique. I'm going to close this new light. I'm going to use color range to actually grab and paint on the next file. So I'm going to really quickly, you can quit if you want to now and do this. I have in the asset folder this picture that you can actually use. Okay, it's actually called, I don't remember what it's called, color range tutorial. Now I'm going to go to the car sky thing. And I'm going to show you that this is the clicky copy that I have on top, and I've named all my layers. I have no new channels, and I want to show these channels in a larger context so you can see them when they go in, okay? So I'm going to turn on this little thing that I have up here, my little reference layer, and I've already drawn my paths. Let me move this down. I've already drawn my paths. I have a black path, a window path, and an outer sheet metal path, okay? I had a hood path, and what happened to it? Oh, I'm going to have to redraw my hood path. So hold on, I'll be right back, and there will be a hood path there. Okay, I have now a hood path. I want you to see just how incredibly fast this thing is going to look. And obviously, I'm going to paint these clouds right on the window, but I don't have to paint it or grab. Can you imagine trying to draw these clouds out? Do you even know how you would draw these clouds out? Could you draw that shape and then use Gaussian blur right there? Yes, but multiply that shape times about 300 other shapes and you'd be fine. How about you do it in like 3 minutes? Okay, so I'm going to paint this whole thing for you quickly, but I'm still going to paint it. So I'm going to turn on this little copy. I'm going to Command or Control click this selection here. I'm going to hit the B key and I'm going to grab this color of this hood, and I'm just going to hit Option Delete after I click on the hood layer, Option Delete. Now I'm going to add a little variance to this. So I'm going to call the next layer, because you should only put one color on one layer. So I'm going to call it hood number 2 and save the file. I'm going to hit the B key, hold the Option key down to eyedrop this darker tone over here to the side, zoom back out, make the brush bigger, and I'm going to paint a little bit of darkness. I need to make this a little bit darker. So let's go a little bit darker with it like this and more rich. Okay, so I'm going to now make it a little darker here. Something is prohibiting me from painting. What do I have on? Smoothing is supposed to be down to 0. I know it. Let me see. Yes, that's the problem. All right, I have something that's going on with my paintbrush, and it's not actually putting the right amount of paint on the canvas. It actually is okay, but it still isn't. I'm going to go into brush settings because I may have hit a bad number in brush settings. Let me make sure this is on 25%. And shape dynamics is not on, and smoothing is on, and I should be having, that should be fine. Let me deselect now and continue on. I wanted that to be just a base value. In color range, sometimes you have to put the base value on first, and which I told you in the last demo, but it's not black, okay? It's what the base value is visually. See how this base value isn't black? See how the base value behind the window is? So now let's go do that. And I want to test this out and see if it's working. So I'm going to hit the V key. And you know, Photoshop is nothing but fixing stuff, right? Am I right? So let's Command click the black up here. Let me go hit the B key and grab the black right here. I'm going to put this up on 10 on the flow. And I'm going to back out of this, and now it should be allowing me to paint quite a bit of black on there. All right, it's doing fine. So I can just hit Option Delete. I just wanted to check that out. Now I have the, I have on the, do you see the mistake I just made? I've been painting up on the clicky small copy. That is really a amateurish error, but thank God you can go Command Z and then Alt or Option Command Z to get rid of it, and then maybe click to the correct layer, Brian, that you named, and hit Option Delete, and let's paint on the correct layer next time. Okay, so the very first thing in Photoshop that I teach my students is before you execute something, check what layer you're on. So let's do that. I'm going to grab the outer sheet metal. I'm going to show you what it is. Do you see how this outer sheet metal is really this outer color shape right here? Let me zoom in and let me grab that color. Now let's zoom back out, and I'm going to paint this really quick, because this is not a demo on painting the car, it's a demo on, and I'm clicking to the right layer, Option Delete. So now I'm going to hit Command D to deselect. Now I'm going to put the window in. So let's go see what the window is supposed to be. The window is like a base value of this color back here with a little bit of blue on top. So I'm going to be color ranging 3 things when I go into this window. I'm going to color range the light gray, the medium gray, and the white. 3 things. That'll do it. So I'm going to grab this blue right here, and we're going to just paint that blue really quick on the window, and then I'll have an extra window layer called window number 2. And I just want you to see how fast things can happen in this industry. So I'm going to Command click the window. Let's now just hit Option Delete. If I grab this first blue, which is right there, good, I just grabbed it. Option Delete, make sure I'm on the first window layer, boom. Now let's hit Deselect. Now let's click to the window 2 layer. Let me freehand in this color right here. Okay, so I'm going to Command click the window again to make it into a selection. I'll hit Command H, and now I'm going to just hit that color in here extremely fast. Now I want to put a little bit of a reflection in this window, okay? So I'm going to give this a little bit of dark on the top and a little bit of dark coming down here. Now I'm going to actually put in a extra final layer for the window called Window Highlight. So let me go, just to give it a little bit of window shine. So let me go grab this color. Let's go to the foreground color and make it bright. And now I'm going to kill or hit the edge of this window. I want you to know that Command H is still on and the window selection is still active. So I'm going to hit this color over here to give that a little bit of a nice little feel of shine over there, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now, we now need to go to the clouds layer. I have clouds 1, 2, and 3. This is going to be my gray number 1 cloud, gray number 2, and this is going to be the third one is going to be the white. So I'll just let you know that it's going to be white. And I may need to make a separate one for the hood, because the hood has 2 colors of clouds. So we'll do that. These are going to be the clouds for the window. So let's click to the first one. The first one's not going to look very good. Let me turn this off and turn this on. Let me make a selection of the window as we discussed in the last demo. You have to surround the thing you're color ranging with that. So let's go Enter Color Range. Let's grab this first value of gray, which is going to be that lighter gray. Now I'm going to make this go up to what? Yes, about 80 to 85 is fine. Let's save that color in Swatches. So let me move this up. Let's save that color in Swatches as gray window 1. And now let's save the selection as Command V. I'm sorry, I didn't even copy anything, so let me just type it. And now let's go grab the next one. So let's make a selection of the window. Let's go to Color Range. Let's grab the darker gray. So now I'm going to name that darker gray. So let's go to Select and Save Selection as dark gray. And I'm going to drag across it so I don't have to retype it. Hit OK. Click here. Hit Command V. Boom. And now let's go grab the same window. Command click. Look at how fast this is going. And go to Color Range. Let's go grab the white value. Now I've got that beautiful white value. I'm going to go up a little bit higher on the white value and click OK. Now I'm going to name this the white. So let's go to, I named it Clouds 3 White, but I'll just name it Window White. I'm sorry. Was I naming that window, cloud window gray, dark gray? I'm just going to name it, I guess that's fine. As long as you know what it is, as long as I know what it is, then I'm good. So I should say that this is Clouds White. There. Now I'll drag across it. Took me longer to do that than it's going to take to paint. That was a funny little thing. Now let me go like that. Now I have my 3 grays for the clouds. So let's paint them. Let's click to the bottom one, which is going to be the medium gray. So I make a selection of that. I click to the first one that's right there. I turn off the clicky copy. I hit Command H and I hit Option Delete, and there's my first set of clouds. I click to the second one. I Command click the second one. I click to the second color. I will hit Command H and Option Delete. There are my clouds. Now I'm going to have to get rid of some of those clouds that are not looking really good, and I'm going to Gaussian blur them by 1 or 2 pixels to make them look really good. Click to the white. Click on the white color. Command click the white color and hit, make sure I'm on the layer, Option Delete and Fill. Now all I have to do is see how well that's actually looking. I'm missing one greenish tone. So I'm going to go here. Remember I said you need that fix layer? So I'm going to put a fix layer between them. And I want that greenish tone, the tone that is between the white and that color. So back to the window, back to color range. Let's go real close. I'm sorry, I have to turn on the picture. Let's zoom in. You see the color that I want right there? That's the color I want. So let's Command click the window, go to color range. Let's grab that color. I'm going to call it green clouds just for the sake of my brain is gone. And let's go to greenish clouds. Why don't I just write a book, Brian? And let's go Command C. Let's click over here and go Command V. And now I want to turn off the clicky copy, click to the Fix It layer, and now let's gently paint on this. So let's use our paintbrush. Let me hit Command H, and I'm going to just add that color that is the missing color behind those clouds. And now let me deselect. Let's see the clouds right here, and then I need to back off on some stuff, meaning this clouds layer, you see that clouds layer? That just needs to lower the opacity. That's going to melt it right in. Oh, that's beautiful. Now let's go to this layer and reduce a little bit of opacity just from it, just a little bit more. No, that's too much. I still need to reduce some opacity on that layer. That's gorgeous. Oh my God, that's fantastic. Now I think a 2-pixeled or 4-pixeled Gaussian blur on these 2 layers here would be great. So let's click that Clouds 2 layer, go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. I should zoom in first. Let's zoom in. I want to Gaussian blur that color right there. So let's go to Gaussian blur that by 6 pixels. Let me see what Preview did. I think that's great. Now let's click on the bottom one. Let's go up to Filter and Gaussian Blur again, which is Control Command F, and now that looks really pretty. That's really pretty. Now, some of these clouds on top need to go away. So I need to add layer masks to each of these layers with no selection active. Look at how I'm doing it very quickly. And now I'll start with the big layer here. I'll take the brush. It's a good size brush. I have black. I'm painting at 10%, and I'm going to reduce the amount here. I'm going to reduce the amount up here. I'm going to reduce the amount over here. I think that doesn't want to be there in the corner. And down here, I'm going to reduce this so the window comes back out of that. That looks really pretty. This should reduce over here. This is too strong. So let's go to the white layer, and let's get rid of it right on the edge. I probably should bring some of it back, so I'm going to hit the X key, make it come smaller, and bring a little bit of that color back. That looks really cool. Now let's do the same thing on the hood. Now watch what I do here. I'm going to click and shift click these layers and make a folder, and I'm going to call the folder the window clouds. Do you know how long that would have taken you to actually paint that and make it look pretty? Now let's do the hood cloud. So I'll even make a new folder called hood clouds. And it would probably be a good idea, Brian, to save the file. So I told you we need kind of like 2 channels. I think that's going to do it. So in the hood clouds, let's leave it selected and make 2 layers. Let's call this the gray, and let's call this the white. Now let's leave the clicky copy on. Let's isolate the hood. All right, so when I go into color range, it focuses on the hood only. Let's grab this color of gray right here and make this go down to about the 80 to 70%. Let's call this save selection. I called it gray, just simply gray. And now let's save the color as gray. And now let's make a selection of the hood. Let's enter color range. Let's grab the lightest value that's there, which is right there, and let's have it go up a little higher. Let's click OK. Let's save the selection as white. Let's save the color as white. Save the file. Go back out of this, turn off my clicky copy, and now I'm going to paint it with the gray first. So what do? We command click the gray. We click to the gray color. We hit, and I don't have to hit Option Delete. I want you to know that I don't have to just blast it in there. I'm going to take Command H, make the brush bigger, wherever my brush went, and I'm going to paint that gray in here. I'm just going to paint it right on there. So I'm literally painting clouds on the car. Let's click up to the white area, white layer, I'm sorry. Click the whitish color. I should make that color just a pinch more white. I should make it just a pinch more white. And then I'm going to command click the white layer, and now hit Command H, and watch how now this is going to bring off the clouds in the hood. And now with the same Gaussian blurring, look at, there's the original, there's what I have. I don't like how I didn't get that. Okay, that's not, all right, that's kind of working there, but I went too strong. You know, I didn't get that, and okay, I got this value right here. Okay, so I kind of wrecked something. I shouldn't have made it brighter. I should have had a third one, which is the fix layer. Let's make a fix layer. It always needs a fix layer. So I'm going to solve my issue by doing this. That layer that I had as the white, I'm going to reduce the opacity of it. I like it, but I just think it should be back to about here. Okay, now let's go turn on the clicky copy. Let's command click the hood. Let's enter color range for the 100th time. And let's go grab this color right here. And now see how it only grabbed the color here? Are you looking at that window over here? Let's click OK. Let's save that as hood bright. Just leave it at that. Let's save the color as hood bright. And with the selection still active, I'm going to hit Command H. And now I'll turn off the clicky copy. I'm clicking to my fix layer, making the brush smaller. And let me see where it is. And now let's paint that in here. And that's going to look pretty good. Okay, that really brought that out. Let me see why that's not looking good. Oh, you know why? Because there was a... Oh, this is really cool to show you. This is awesome to show you. Let me click this and this and this. You see this reflection that I don't like over here? I'm going to use something to fix that. And I really want you to see how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put in a new fix layer right up here. So I'm going to add a layer mask to all 3 of these layers. Boom, boom, boom. Because the art director may say, hey, take that out. Fine. So on all 3 layers, I'm painting on the layer mask with black, so I had to hit the X key. I'm going to make the brush smaller, and I'm going to paint this out so it just goes away. I need it to have it go away there. I need it to have it go away completely there, and I need it to have it go away completely there. So basically, I'm reducing it on all the layers. Let me do it some more on this layer. It's almost gone. Okay, and let's go to this layer, and it's almost gone. Now, I'm going to click to the fix layer. Watch how neat this is. I'm going to steal clouds from over here and put them over there. How do I do that? I go to where the middle color was right here. I go to that gray. Watch how I can hit the M key. This is really cool. Pick up the selection and place it over here. Did you see that? I actually picked up the selection and placed it over there. Now, if you know how to intersect, subtract, and to add selections together, if I hold Control Alt and Shift or Command Option and Shift and I click the hood, I actually have isolated out where those are just on the hood. Now, I want to save that as hood fix, so I can actually refer to that later if I need it. If I need it. Now let me hit Command H, let me hit the B key. Let's put this same color in our paintbrush that was here, and now look at how I can paint the clouds on top of that hood over there. Now all I need to do is bring off the highlight. I'll move some of these highlights over. So let's go to the white layer. Let's do the same thing with the M key. Let's move this over and put some of the highlights right about here. Now, let's intersect it, Command Option Shift or Control Alt Shift, and let's save this as Fix 2, just so I have it. What did I call it? Hood Fix 2? I'll just call it Hood Fix, spelled it wrong, 2. Hit Command H. Let's grab the lightest value, and now I'm going to put a new layer above that layer, because you should never put 2 colors on the same layer. And look, there's clouds now in the corner. And I borrowed them from over here. Now, that is a sufficient amount of paint. I painted practically an entire, except for the highlights on the windshield wipers, I painted the whole thing in that long. So, I am going to end this movie, and I'm going to come back with showing you how to do the freckles on skin using color range. So this movie was based on a hard product. I'm actually going to go back to it. And this movie was based on a hard product. That movie right here is going to be based on a soft product. Thank you.